Hi everyone and welcome back to Writing Tip of the Week. My name is Julie Stigmeyer and I work with the GSEP in writing support. Today we're going to talk about writing in complete sentences. And the reason why I'm doing this is because we need to back up a step before we can get on to talking about punctuation to make sure we review what complete sentences are. So let me give you two examples and tell me if you think they're complete or not. Spilling the hot spaghetti sauce all over his new suede shoes. For example, a mailbox stuffed with bills, 24 messages on the answering machine, an uppity cat, and a dead lawn. Well, these two are not complete sentences. And I see a lot of examples of fragments like this in student writing. So I want to try to review this so we can avoid it. Here was my original fragment, and here's a rewrite. You can see there's only one small difference is I added he, which is our subject, and then we have a verb, spilled. Whereas up here, all we have is a verb phrase. So that's not sufficient for a complete sentence. Here's another example. Here was my first. And now I rewrote this as a mailbox was filled with bills. Now we have a subject and our verb was filled, whereas up here, all we had was a subject. So let's practice. What is the subject of this sentence? An idea, and the verb has built. So we include the helping verb has as part of the verb. About this one. Art and games need rules, conventions, and spectators. What's our subject? Art and games, and the verb? Need. And in both these sentences, we have objects as well, direct objects. And then the last one, in the Odyssey, Homer gives us detailed information of wind and stars. What's our subject? It is Homer, and then the verb is gives. So in all three of these, we look for the action, which is has built, need, and gives, and then we try to find what it is that's acting, the idea, the art and games, and Homer. So that's how we determine what is the subject and the verb in the sentence. Now it's time for our mini segment, Did You Know? Here's a different spelling of this word, principle. So the first one with the LE, this is a truth or a proposition, whereas the AL usually refers to a person. I remember being taught in elementary school that the principal, AL, is my friend, my pal. So that's how I've always kept that one straight. So here's an example of a sentence. Water following the principle of gravity will run downhill, thus forming new channels. Which one's correct? Here we would choose the LE, this is a truth. And this one, the principal of the troubled Boys and Girls High School in Brooklyn said on Thursday that he is leaving the post. And this one would be our PAL, P-A-L, the principal. That's all for this week's writing tip. Join me next week for more tips and ideas. And if you have any suggestions, feel free to pass them along. Until then, happy writing.